everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Good morning.
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 So this is just a quick interview with you all for the fans around the world who are at this very moment very interested in what's going on with the as yet unnamed new Marillion album. So they've been asking questions constantly. Where are we up to? What's going on? Are there any new songs written? So anyone want to tell us?
Bit nosy, aren't they?
Bit nosy, what are they, policemen? So yeah, for the last, well, actually, we started jamming on and off over the last few years, but more recently, since the lockdown, we've been intensively jamming for an hour a day, sometimes two. But we got to the stage where we've sort of arranged quite a few of those jams into about 30 to 35 different things. And over the last few days, literally, it's a good time to ask us this, we've selected our 10 favourites, each of us, in secret, and we've shared it all with Mike. And then from that, he's going to say, right, okay, these are the things that we all get excited about, we're all going to work on, and over the next few months, that will hopefully take shape as an album.
Yeah.
So what happens, so let's say there's one track you're working on. Can you explain what that means, working on it?
Different stages, really. Steve, maybe you'd like to jump in here.
What, me?
Yeah.
I mean,
Mr. H.
Steve number 2. Well, yeah, what it means really is the process starts with us jamming and flailing around and hopefully having an occasional happy accident. The process then moves on to Mike, our esteemed producer and engineer, collecting happy accidents together and seeing if he can glue a few together in an interesting way. Then it moves on to us going back into the studio, listening to what he might want to glue together, jamming a bit more, and trying to jam with the intention of staying in the same place or working towards the same song. He then takes that away and sticks anything out of that he thinks could work. And we're at that stage really now where we've done that with a whole load of ideas. We've got about 25 or 30 ideas that we've all agreed at some point in the past consist of interesting things. And as of this morning, really, we've selected, I think, 10 of our favourite ideas out of the 25. And these are all ideas that are already some way down the road to being what you'd call songs. So they're words and music. And they're songs that we're excited about, or that we feel have potential to become really, really good things. So after this Zoom meeting today, we'll go into the studio. Mike will reveal whichever ideas we've all agreed are good things, which is a bit of luck be one of them.
Yeah.
And we're having agreed on one. We will then go back into the studio and learn the chords, learn the arrangement, and try and start the process of making it solid.
So you try and recreate what you hear on the thing that Mike plays you. You then go and try and recreate it. Expand on it. So Pete might go, oh, actually, that needs a bass line that goes, whatever.
That might happen, or he might choose to stick with what he's already done, which is probably great because he's a great bass player.
Probably, I would say.
Probably. And down the road in that, I might take a set of words that is on there, and if I feel the melody's working but the words aren't, I'll rewrite the words to make more sense of it. Because sometimes this process of working the way we do and gluing bits together sometimes ends up with a lyric being kind of gobbledygook and not making any sense. So then I have to go back and try and return it to being what I wanted to say in the first place. somehow. So during the process, I'll be doing that. But I'll also be listening to melodies and thinking, well, could this be better? You know, could I change a couple of these notes to make it just more convincing? And I guess the rest of the band will be doing similar things. And I can't speak for everyone else, but I imagine Mark will be thinking about his sounds and his parts. Steve will be thinking about what he can do with the guitar parts. You know, just working towards making the song great. Really.
Our solo, guitar solos, Steve, are they added sort of nearer the end, or do you, when you're sitting in the room, do you think, oh, I really need to go where on this bit? Technical
it depends on the idea. I mean, some of the exciting things are where some things happened in the room at the time. So Mike's incorporated that into the arrangement. So. But it's just like a framework, really, where you want to sort of do something. I mean, when we're going to the next stage of the process, we can sort of learn the arrangements and the chords, and maybe experiment a little bit with the arrangements and places we can go. So it's still pretty much, it's like halfway through the evolution of it into a finished song, I would say.
I think this is the part that some of the fans struggle to understand, you know, because you quite often in interviews say, well, we're jamming and then we're doing this, and people like me who aren't musicians can't quite get their head round how that works.
We might have a verse, chorus arrangement, but we know that we don't want a song to just go verse, chorus, finish. You think, okay, maybe it needs an intro, maybe it needs a section in the middle that takes it somewhere else, or maybe it needs a whole new place to go to at the end. So all those things haven't been decided with any of these yet. And some of these things, they sound like a great ending for a song, but nothing else, you know. So we might think, okay, that's going to be an ending somewhere, but we're not sure where, you know.
So what this song needs is a nice bit of overworked guff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where this stage really benefits the songs, I think. You know,
it's important as well that when we've got an end to a song, that we just add a couple of seconds to it, so people don't know where to clap.
Nice quiet bit at the end.
My favourite is one of these days you're just going to stop. Well,
you know,
you're in the audience and you're like, on behalf of all Marillion fans, I ask that please can one of the songs stop.
Okay, we'll take that on board.
Yeah, so we can all clap at the same time. So you're feeling like you're obviously feeling positive because you're all smiling, or have you got to the hysterical stage yet, or is that further down the line?
I think it's very positive, actually. We've got lots of ideas that this whole list that we've been working on started from a list ages and ages ago of little ideas that we were all found exciting to some degree. So all the songs have been made up of ideas that we already have kind of ticked off as things we would want to use in songs. So, from this point of view, we've got lots of exciting ideas, and it's just really down to what kind of album we want to end up writing.
I mean, what's interesting, I think, is it's quite diverse in terms of the styles that we've got on here. So, it's not going to be anything like it, but if you can imagine Afraid of Sunlight with very sort of different sort of songs, it's kind of, I think it's going to be more like that than Fear in terms of a structure and a feel. But some really, really nice things.
Well, a few fans have asked, are you using any new equipment on this album? You know, are you deliberately, like one fan, Johnny, says, you know, with so many albums under your belt, it's hard to make every album better than the last. How do you create something new and fresh that you haven't done before? So is that part of it? You just said it's not going to be like Fear. Are you doing what you always say that you do and reacting to what the last album was, or are you trying to do you see what I'm getting at? Are you using new equipment, new sounds to try and make it different, or what's happening in that kind of thing?
it's you try different combinations of the things. For me on the guitar, there's classic sounds, there's things that you use or use in combinations that you haven't used before. A different guitar, like an Italia 12-string for like some jangly stuff, and my Blade Telecaster that I've got in dadgad tuning, and that kind of leads you down different paths than maybe you wouldn't go.
I've got lots of old analog synths behind me, but I won't be using any of them. I've got my sonic ball, this thing. It sort of goes invisible when you wave it around.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at the album.
Very good.
Yeah.
I've bought a couple of pedals recently. One of them is an octave pedal, which has some interesting kind of sounds in it. So there's a bit of that, but most of the most of what we do that changes songs from being what the previous album was like it's really down to the songs and the way we're playing at the time. And sometimes that can be triggered by sounds and new equipment, but other times that can just be triggered by what we're thinking of in the room at the time.
Well, Gary Hume has asked, do you make a possible subconscious effort towards making a feel-good album as an antidote to the recent negativity that 2020 has provided? Has that, I know we'll talk to you in a second, H, about lyrics, but musically, when something is as awful as this year has been, do you feel the need to
65 BPM?
Yeah, we have actually taken the tempo up.
I'm just saying, does it
100.
affect anything?
We're nearly in, three figures there.
I don't know. I think when we jam, we go into a different place anyway, outside of reality. So you're not directly.
Relevant.
Maybe there's a little bit of kind of a melancholy aspect occasionally, but.
But you write melancholic songs anyway, so...
Exactly. There's not been, from my point of view, there's not been any attempt to do anything too cheery as an antidote to the doom and gloom.
Yeah.
I would say really that if you try and force a song in a direction, it's going to be dreadful. And I think we might have tried that in the past a couple of times, and I think we've stopped trying that kind of thing. So really, it's down to what the song is.
Well, a lot of people are asking those kind of questions, and this is specifically to H. Obviously, it's like you're not writing loads of songs about COVID, are you? Please,
I tried to do an upbeat song like "Hope for the Future," but it just made people hope that we wouldn't do something like that again.
I like Hope for the Future. God damn it.
Yeah, I was talking about Hope for the Future earlier. But as Anthony Short was saying, it's one of his favourite Marillion songs. So there we go.
Great tune.
There you are.
Just because you don't like it, Mark, doesn't mean
I didn't like it.
I don't think he's alone.
He's not alone.
He's not alone.
What was the question? Sorry, Mark.
A lot of the fans are sort of saying, they're saying there are, and obviously it's too soon for you to answer, but they're saying, is it going to be a political album? Is it just going to be COVID? They're going, please don't sing about COVID. We want to forget this has ever happened. What's your feeling without giving anything away?
At the outset, first of all, I've got tons of words this time, more than I've probably gone into an album ever with. At least 3 times as much as is likely to get even used or looked at. So there's lots of words. The overall feeling of the album will only be determined at the end by what we use, because just because I've written 10 songs about puppy dogs' tails and sunrise and optimism and being in love, we might not use any of that. We might settle on the one that's all about disease.
Yeah.
So we won't know until further down the line what the overall feeling is going to be. But I did set out deliberately to try and not write anything about the pandemic or about what it's done to all of us, because I just figured every other artist on earth is going to be doing that right now. And by the time we get this record out, you know, even if it's not the last thing anyone wants to hear now, it certainly will be by the time we get this album out. So I was avoiding that at all costs. But having said that, I found it crept in. I just couldn't stop it, because I'm writing about how I feel. I'm writing about what I see in the world. And that's what I've always written about. So I found it creeping in, you know, against my will. So there will be references in it, but you know, I think you'll have to look for them. It's not like it's going to be, here's a song about the pandemic. But you know, to make an honest statement in 2020 about anything is, you know, without it creeping in, would be actually dishonest, because it's in the back of all of our minds.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's a really honest. I think that's a really honest answer. So, well, that's kind of all the kind of questions I had about the actual writing of the album. So, unless anyone's got anything, I mean, you know, there's lots of questions. Like Alison Higgins says, the release was such an underrated track. I love its energy. Will there be some equally energetic tracks on the new album? You can't answer any of that yet, can you? Or can you?
Really?
It was nicked by Pink Floyd. That's how
what
good
are
it was.
you doing?
We
I think
we have got some energetic songs. Whether they'll end up on the album. When I say songs, you know, we're working on some energetic music alongside lots of other kind of ideas as well. So at this point, yeah, we don't really know what will end up on the album.
I mean, the only thing nobody has said, which is true, apart from Nice Beret, is it's very hard to think.
Mark Kelly.
I'm bored, Mark, ladies and gents.
I'm going to have to turn it off. I'm sorry.
Specs, those aren't. They're kind of ska specs.
There we go.
Have we done a ska tune yet? There's still time. The only other thing nobody's said is that, as a rule, what happens during this process beyond now is something comes in at the last minute, like a horse, you know, in the Grand National. There's that one at the back that suddenly overtakes everybody. And I mean, Gaza did that. We at this stage in writing whichever album Gaza was on.
Sounds that can't be made.
Can't be made. At this stage, it didn't exist. So we would have been talking about sounds that can't be made, you know, without the foggiest idea that Gaza would ever happen at this stage. So there's a very good chance something will appear, either within an existing song idea that we've already got that we know nothing about, or a brand new song. That often happens.
And
So
we're still doing the odd little jam, like every day we start off with a half-hour jam, just a quick one, just in case something great happens, because you know, we're sort of on a roll now. We get into a sort of you know, a mode where the jamming brings up a lot of good things, and that takes a few weeks for us to get there. So once we're there, it's like a sort of well-tuned car. We just want to keep doing it, you know.
Yeah, Mike said that to me yesterday. He said he wants to keep recording you because you're all on a roll. He says, I need them to stop because I've got stuff I need to do. He said, but I can't stop them because creatively they're being, you know, really great, which is fantastic actually, because that's been quite consistent for quite a few months, and that's more than I've, you know, in the 20 years of working for you, that's more than I've ever heard you do consistently. So well done.
Yeah, I think what happens is that when we get to a certain stage, we naturally relax and don't think we have to kind of fight anything or prove that we can still write, because it is a weird process when you start out trying to write an album. It's because you start with nothing, and it can take a while before good ideas kind of get to you. But now now we've relaxed a bit more. It seems to be that the floodgates have opened and they won't close.
It's like you all get attuned to each other, you know, you're really listening to each other. So as an idea is born, people are kind of actively making a contribution to it, and it's growing and growing and evolving. And, you know, you don't want to stop that process before you really have to.
Well, especially as H says, if something like Gaza comes out of that at the last minute,
Exactly.
something.
You never
Okay.
know.
Sorry, Ian?
You never know what's going to come out of it, really, with all the jams. But it's been very enjoyable jamming the last few months. Took about a year to get to that point, but
It usually does.
yeah, it does.
You guys, and whatever is the least convenient thing for Mike is what usually happens.
Yeah,
That's true as well, actually.
Yeah, he's just stopped recording and he's about to walk out of the room, and you start playing something really good. You know?
yeah. Oh, yeah. The other day, Steve, we played something and Mike didn't record it. He wasn't ready, and he said, "I didn't record that," and I just said, "That's a real shame, Mike. That's the best thing we've ever done." Just to wind him up.
He nearly cried.
Yeah. Was that the day you had to talk him off the roof?
Yeah.
Might have been.
Right, so I'm going to carry on with some just general questions now. Anyone can answer. What I want to know first is, what are the best biscuits for recording an album with?
Okay, so
Well, you get into
Jaffa
that, is it a
cakes.
biscuit or a cake, but yeah, it's a Jaffa cake, isn't it,
It's
Pete?
gotta be a
That's
Jaffa
the
cake.
studio mainstay.
Well, Mark's been eating at least a cake a day, every day for the last couple of weeks. So
well, yeah.
Mark could recommend something. Lemon drizzle cake, Mark?
Lemon drizzle's good.
Yeah.
Carrot cake, yeah.
It's not a
I
biscuit,
haven't
though,
had
is
any
it?
cake all year. Not even on my birthday, but never mind.
You've got to give yourself a break, Steve, at some point. What are you going to do?
No,
at
I
Christmas?
do. Yeah, no, absolutely. But I'm just trying to kind of keep within certain things of, you know,
Well,
these are the things I'm allowed.
I was going to say, that leads me on to my next question from Anne Lacey. She said, how is your health, mental or otherwise, in these uncertain times? Feel free to answer. Start with Steve Rothery.
Yeah, good. I suppose November's been a little bit more relaxed since it's a lot of birthdays in November. But you know, I'm very conscious of not slipping back. So post Christmas, I'll probably become even more focused again. Also, when it's this cold, you don't really want to go out and walk for an hour and a half every day.
No.
But generally, yeah, mental health is good.
Good. Mental health, anybody? Or is that, you know?
Well, it's always been debatable, isn't it? But I suppose being able to still work together in the studio every day has helped. That and taking the dogs for a walk.
I think us being able to work together has done us a lot of good, actually, mentally. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Oh,
Probably the
nicely.
biggest
I'm
thing.
up and down like a yo-yo, really. You know, generally in life, I'm either as high as a kite or, you know, suicidal. So, you know, you've got to. I can tell you that at 20 to 12, I feel pretty good.
Well, Jed Levin says from the USA, says, I think as others have asked, how is everyone and their families doing? Is it challenging to be in a creative mindset right now? Many of us are feeling very antisocial as months and months of social distancing going on. So how is that? How is social distancing affecting you personally, or does it not?
I think
I miss my daughter a bit. I'm not getting to see Sophie much, and you know, I've got a fairly new grandson. He's just 18 months old. I'm not getting to spend as much time with him as I really ought to. But you know, I go around. They won't let me in the house, so it's kind of tricky.
But that's just in general.
I think that will carry on.
Through the window, you know.
I hate to tell you.
Yeah, I hate to tell you.
It's the hardest thing, really, seeing so little of your family.
Yeah.
That is
It
the most
is.
difficult thing about the pandemic for me.
Yeah, that and I suppose close friends. You know, not being able to see them for a month on end. But I mean, everyone's in the same boat, aren't they? Really.
Yeah, but we're all
Yeah.
doing all right apart from that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we're very, very lucky that we haven't had to abandon a year of touring for this pandemic. We'd always planned to be in the studio this year. And so although the pandemic, hovers around at the back of your mind like a dark cloud and affects certain aspects of your life, we've been fortunate that we've kind of gone on as though nothing had happened to some extent, certainly in our work and with our music.
Massively, I'd say.
Are we all
Yeah.
looking forward to the vaccine? I think we've got, what have we got? Ian first, Steve Rothery second, H third, and then Pete, and then Mark. Is that the order?
I'm not having
Probably,
it. I don't want Bill Gates tracking me. I've heard all about that G5 Bill Gates stuff. I'm not serious, by the way. I'll be first in the queue.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a life changing for a lot of people.
Yeah, they could stick it in my arm here and now. I'm ready. I'm
Yeah.
not worried about it at all. I had a flu jab the other day. I've never had a bad reaction to those either, so they're worth having.
Well, Ian will be first, so we'll see how he reacts. But
Yeah, thanks.
but all crack on.
Yeah.
There's a few people
Clucking like a
before me.
chicken. We'll review the.
Here's the kind of question. That I'll answer on your. I think you might be able to answer. You'll say anyway. David Tellett said, "How far into the process of the songwriting, song assembly, etc., do you need to be comfortable before Lucy starts the pre-order process? Because there will be a pre-order for the next album." So this chap is saying, when will you let me do it?
Once we've got the songs sort of written, really, and we can see, you can sort of judge how long it's going to take. Because when you're writing it, you don't know at what stage you're going to say, right, we're going to stop now. We've got enough material. This is all great. This is going to be the album. Up until that point, it's how long's a piece of string. But once you can see the end in sight, then.
Do you think by early spring I'll be able to launch a pre-order, even if we don't know exactly when it's going to come out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my personal feeling is you could do it now. I mean, there will be an album.
There will be an album.
It's not like we're not going to make one. I think we've got the kind of fans that will come on board on faith. And, you've all proved that to us time and again in the past. So it becomes, in a way, it becomes more of a business decision than whether it's morally right. We shouldn't let that worry us.
Never have done in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the tour starting in October next year. Just the tour. I'll answer this bit that the fans have asked. Why haven't we been able to do any more gigs and da da da? The reason is that everybody is trying to tour in the last quarter of 2021, and so I could only get certain places on certain dates, and we had to spoon in what we could get. We had the Hammersmith Odeon concerts on hold from over a year ago before all this, so we had to do everything around that. So unfortunately we can't do any more dates than we're already doing, most of which are selling absolutely amazingly, and some are going to be sold out soon. So if you are watching this and you're on the fence, there will be a vaccine. Everyone will be back at concerts by then, so go buy your tickets. But anyway, when you do your first gig, how are you going to feel?
Bloody awful.
Rusty, I would think.
Terrified.
I'm already personally anticipating that noise when we first walk onto a stage after all this. I think it's going to be totally unprecedented.
The longest we've ever gone without playing, isn't it? It's 2 years. It'll be the longest we've gone without playing a gig. So, yeah.
I think the sense of relief and communion amongst the people is just going to be colossal, and it's just going to be a massive celebration, and we'll probably get away with murder.
Probably.
I mean, there is still
Probably just as well.
There is still
we
the
always have.
outside possibility of maybe doing a socially distanced Leicester thing. It's still on, but I think it's very unlikely. But we'll talk about that in January and make a decision and see where we're at. Because again,
Right.
you were also worried, weren't you? Let's be honest with the fans here. You were worried again about doing a gig after so long and being shit.
Well, we're always worried about
Yeah.
that. That much.
It doesn't matter how much rehearsing we do. I mean, it always takes probably a week of gigs before the machine becomes slightly more well-oiled. So, yeah, it's just a different energy when you're out of a rehearsal room, actually in front of people. But looking forward to it. I'd like to say a big thank you to our fans as well for all the donations to the tip jar from the Couch Convention, because our our crew. I mean, it's been a fantastic thing for them. It's helped them out a lot.
Well, the
So
tip jar is
well
still open.
I know. I'm going to borrow some out of it soon myself.
Okay, we're now going to go to quick fire questions.
Oh,
Because my battery's going to run out in about 10 minutes, so hopefully we can do it.
Oh.
Slump forward.
you're on the Tesla.
If you had a choice, we're going to do this in alphabetical order, so it's H, Ian, Mark, Pete, Steve, right? H, Ian, Mark, Pete, Steve.
Should we do it in reverse alphabetical order?
No.
So when his battery runs out, he'll have gone.
Yeah, click.
Stop. If you had a choice between two superpowers, invisible or flying, which would you choose? H, go.
Oh, flying, invisibility, Jesus. I'd see all kinds of things I don't want to see.
Ian,
What?
alphabetical order, quick fire.
Quick fire.
I'd be invisible.
Mark,
Flying, of course.
Flying, definitely.
Flying.
Fly together as soon as there's favourable weather.
Exactly.
Yeah,
What's
Marillion
Victoria?
formation flying.
start again with H. What is your favourite colour of socks?
Maroon.
White.
Ian,
White, but I've just gone over to black because I was told off.
Black.
Black.
Yeah, black.
bath or shower? H.
Shower.
Shower.
I've had one bath in the last year. Shower. One bath.
Shower.
No
I've had
showers.
one shower in the last year. So shower.
Shower to get clean, bath to relax.
Well done. I do like a bath.
Bed bath.
This is a passenger or driver? H.
Driver.
Driver.
Passenger.
Driver.
Driver.
Oh, passenger if Mark's driving.
Listen, you're all driving and I'm the passenger. How am I going to be driving?
That's a good point.
Anyone else apart from me and driving, I'll get the bus.
Thank you, Steve.
Can't wait for self-driving cars when I can either sleep or read when I'm going somewhere.
H. Beer or wine?
Oh, gin.
Oh. Gin. Well, I don't really drink, but wine.
Wine.
Cup of tea.
Yeah, nice glass of Malbec for me, please.
Lovely. This is a very random question and anyone can answer it. I just liked it. If I gave you an elephant, where would you hide it?
In a matchbox.
In a mini, of course. Oh, sorry.
In the corner of the room, of course.
In the garage.
I'll just
Right.
put it on the green.
Not on the green. Right, okay, quick. Right, finally, fingers on buzzers. So I want you to go buzz and wait till I shout your name for the answer. It's a quiz. You're all playing against each other, and there's 6 questions, and they're all Marillion quiz questions. See who knows
Right.
this band. Are ready? Fingers on buzzers. What Marillion song has the same title as a song by Queen?
Oh,
Jesus.
Buzz.
Buzz, Mark Kelly.
Invisible Man?
Correct.
Oh.
So you're not really a huge Queen fan, so I wouldn't know that.
Shocker. Fingers on buzzers. What's the only song that the band has played live at all 7 of the Port Zealand conventions?
Buzz?
Mark Kelly?
Easter?
Great Escape?
No, wrong, both of you.
Buzz King.
Wrong.
Neverland?
No, This Strange Engine.
Have we? Wow.
Not, fingers on buzzers, not counting You're Gone or Kaylee. What was Merillion's highest charting single in Holland?
Buzz?
Cover my eyes.
Cover my eyes, yeah.
You didn't
My
buzz,
eyes, yeah.
Ian.
I did.
Buzz,
You
Cover
didn't
My
hear
Eyes.
it.
Cover my eyes got to number 10.
Number 13, actually.
Okay.
Okay, right.
Does he
here we go.
lose half a point for that?
He does. Fingers on buzzers. Name the 5 Marillion albums that don't have a title track.
Buzz.
Mark Kelly.
Brave.
What?
Not called Brave.
I'll lose a point for that.
5 albums.
You've written 5 albums that don't have a title track. Come on.
Arachnophobia?
Correct.
Misplaced Childhood.
Correct.
Meridian.com.
Correct.
Passionate Straws.
No, that's got a song called Clutching at Straws on it.
That's it.
Your voice went really
you?
high then. Your voice is getting higher, Lucy.
Got The Last Straw, but it hasn't got a song called Clutching at Straws.
It does. It has.
No, and also...
No, he says that lyric in the song and at the end of
All right.
One
We'll
More
argue
Circle.
about that later.
No,
Radiation
the Black
and
One.
Fear.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want.
Well done, Lucy.
Thank you. I want a volunteer for this one. It's a hard one. Who wants to do it?
I'll always volunteer for a hard one. Yeah?
Moving away.
Go on then. Steve Hogarth, can you name your studio albums in the order they were released? You got
No
to include
fucking
which ones
way.
as well. No?
Yeah.
Well,
Mark-
no, try.
Go
What-
on.
The ones I was involved in.
Well, Mark,
Oh,
can you
all
do
of
the first 4?
Well, no, I'll do the first 4. Sod it.
Go on then.
Strip for a Guest of Tear.
Yes.
Misplaced Childhood.
No.
Oh, bollocks. Gazzy, Misplaced Childhood, Clutching at Straws.
Correct.
Season's End. Holidays in Eden. Brave. Afraid of Sunlight.
Yeah.
This Strange Engine. Marillion.com.
Wrong. Radiation.
Wrong.
Radiation. Marillion.com. Well, plainly I can't.
Arachnophobia, Marvel,
Arachnophobia.
Somewhere Else,
Marvel. Yeah.
As a Car Be Made, and Fear.
No, you forgot Happiness
No,
is
this is a
Growth.
road.
Great question. Apparently they can't.
No.
Not a record.
Bunch of cabbages.
Which
Please
leads
name
me
all the singles now.
Anyway,
No,
my
which
back is
leads me to
Brett.
my last question, which leads me nicely to my last question, which the fans are debating a lot. So you've done 17 studio albums, right? Do we ever include Less is More and Friends from the Orchestra in that? Or is the new album going to be album 18? See where I'm going from?
Yeah, I've been calling it album 20, so obviously I've been doing that without realising it.
I have as well.
Have you?
Although I probably wouldn't. Being a bit of a purist, I would probably think
Yeah,
of those as, if another band did that kind of thing, I would think of those as not original
We do
material.
need a definitive
Oh.
answer because the fans.
I'd say this is,
a
for
lot.
me, it's the 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too, but I've been calling it the 19th.
So we'll go for it's definitely the 18th, and Less is More and Friends from the Orchestra are not studio albums, correct? Agreed?
Well, they weren't original material, were they?
Exactly.
So,
And that
they
is.
were studio albums, but they weren't original material. So
Well, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for talking to the fans. If you've got a message for the fans, go ahead, and then we'll say goodbye.
Have a great
Yes.
Christmas.
Yeah, have a
great
very,
Christmas.
very Merry Christmas and a much happier, better New Year.
Yeah. Post-pandemic 2021.
Right.
And we're looking forward to seeing you all together as soon as possible.
Yeah, looking forward massively to that.
Brilliant.
Ian would say, ho ho.
Thank
Ho-ho.
you.
Bye.